Hello and welcome to Seismic Cinema. So put your feet up on the bed at the Continental, grab your dog and hold it tight, and prepare to seek vengeance for the next 30 to 40. I don't know why I try to keep guessing the length, because every time I watch them back, we go way over it. But yeah, so welcome.
I know. I think last one you said 40 minutes and we were like an hour and 20. So we'll try and keep it to the standard. So yeah, we're doing the John Wick Chapter 1 review, and we are joined by our esteemed guests. We've got all the way from over the pond, John Westley from the Sense of Shelf podcast. How you doing, John?
I'm doing all right tonight. How are you three doing?
Yeah.
Doing very well, thank you. Doing good.
Who's Nicole?
You're freezing all over the place.
Yeah. Before we keep going, just thank you for having me back. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
We had a good time. We enjoyed doing the Tales of the Jedi review. We had a good Star Wars discussion. So we'll get you on for another Star Wars one actually at some point.
And we've also got
season 2.
Oh. And we've also got Daniel, who is our graphics man and our unofficial third back. So this is our two. This is actually probably two of our only recurring guests so far.
You sure?
I think so. I think Daniel and John are the only two that have been back.
James has been on twice.
So he has. So 2 or 3. There we go.
Strachan's been on a few times. All
right, never mind then. Just totally disregard everything I said there. I'm lying.
You just made my head swell a little and then immediately deflated it.
That's how you work it. Well, see, because this is going to be audio only, just turn your camera off so we don't have to watch you freezing every 2 seconds.
Okay, bye.
That's better. It's really off-putting because it's like when you're watching a foreign film, English like dub. It's just there's no like link between the two. I kind of miss you though. No.
To be fair, that's just how I speak. I just look really weird when I speak.
It's up to you. You can put it back on if you want.
No, it's fine. I'll hide.
No worries. So before we get into before we do anything, John, if you're up for it, always a good chance to give you a chance to plug your own show.
Of course, I appreciate it. As you guys mentioned, I host the Sense of Shelf podcast. I like to read a lot, and I like to talk to people about reading, so I figured what better way to force my opinions on different books on people than start a podcast for people to listen to. I don't know. I've been doing it almost a year now, I think. I enjoy it. I'm reading. I started doing like banned books recently. And I kind of got distracted from that because I discovered some authors I really liked, but I'll be getting back to that soon. I just put out an episode last night with a Black Panther graphic novel and the book Babel, which just came out a couple months ago. So if you're listening and you like books, please pause this show, go listen to mine, and then come back.
Don't know if we can allow that.
Yeah. Was that the image you put on your promo? Is it like Black Panther and Spider-Man in the picture as well? No, is that a different one? The Wakanda?
No, that's the one. The story takes place with the Dora Milaje from Black Panther in New York. So there's a couple other Marvel characters that make appearances, and Spider-Man's one of them.
Ah, I see. And are you still into your graphic novels?
Yes, I'm still slowly making my way through Sandman. I actually just finished volume 6 or book 6 last night.
Ah, okay. I just started watching. I was a bit ill between New Year and Christmas, and I was watching the Sandman show on Netflix.
Yeah, the show was pretty good. I really liked it.
Yeah, I quite liked a few episodes. I found that I struggled a couple of them because they were quite slow, some of them. But that's because I think I was ill and I wasn't enjoying it as much as I could have been just because I didn't feel that great. So I probably need to go back and watch it.
Nice.
Well, that leads us in nicely to our opening segment of What Are We Watching? or what we're listening to, or what we're reading, basically any form of media. So we'll come back to John because he's been sharing a wee bit there. We'll come back to him at the end and see if there's anything else he wants to add. Daniel, what about yourself? Have you been checking out any TV shows, movies, audiobooks, books recently?
Yeah, I've actually started watching The Last of Us. So I've seen the first 2 episodes. With that, really enjoying it. It really does the game justice. So unusual for a game adaptation, like onto a TV show. It's pretty unusual, and it works. So
I watched the first episode, but I've not watched the second one yet.
No, the second episode was really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's really good. Pedro Pascal is a nice fit for the role of Joel. So if you like the game, if you love the game, then you'll love the show.
He's just owning TV at the moment, Pedro, isn't he, with his growing repertoire of shows?
Yeah, I don't think he has any shows that are lower than 8.9 on IMDb. So he's doing really well.
Yeah, cool. Anything else you've been checking out?
There's a show out called Peripheral. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying that as well.
Yeah, I watched that. It was really good. It was interesting.
Yeah. Something different. Yeah.
What's the premise?
It's kind of a mix between like Ready Player One, kind of. It's hard to describe actually. It's quite a unique idea. It's like this VR headset kind of thing, but you can kind of go into the future. The character goes into the future and they're in this kind of avatar body, robotic body, but apparently these people in the future can go access the past as well. It's a weird premise, but I recommend you watch it. I can't do it justice by talking about it. It's something you'd have to actually watch.
Yeah, it's a unique show.
Where's it available?
Prime, right? It's on Amazon Prime where I am.
Yeah, it's on Prime.
I'm looking for a new show to get invested in. So
I think if you like sci-fi, any sort of sci-fi, you see a lot of influences in the peripheral. Like Ready Player One was a great example. There's some like Terminator almost type stuff in it.
Yeah.
I've still not seen Ready Player One. I was actually talking to somebody about it the other day. I reckon I would really like it if I watched it.
You would?
Pretty on brand for me. I love the book, but the movie was pretty good too.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to like work out if Paul's actually there or not because we can't see him. I think he's battling with the dogs.
I'm just trying to mute my dog because he's just decided every time I do a podcast, he's just like, how much noise can we make?
Well, your dog has opinions about the movie too, I'm sure.
Yeah. He's pretty upset about the whole situation.
Paul, we come back to you. Do you want to share anything now, or we come back round?
Yeah, I'll come back round. I'll get in the flip side.
So what have I been watching? Weekly Bad Batch, and I'll save my feelings about Bad Batch until we do our review at the end of the season. Because I didn't manage to watch all the Black Mirror episodes before our ranking, I've started early with my Mandalorian rewatch. So I've watched the first 6 episodes of season 1. So I'm going to watch season 1, season 2, plus the 3 episodes of Boba Fett that Mando's in, because season 3 of Mando comes out the 1st of March. So if you're planning on doing a rewatch, I would definitely recommend getting on it now.
Yeah.
And I watched John Wick ahead of this review. I finally watched the first episode of season 3 of Dead to Me. It's Christina Applegate and that other person, Hawkeye's wife. What's her name again? Linda Cardellini?
Cardellini,
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons of that, so I started watching that. And something Paul recommended after Black Mirror, I've watched like 4 or 5 of, Paul,
Love, Death and Robots.
Love, Death and Robots on Netflix, yeah. The second episode is really strange. The first one was funny. The post-apocalyptic one. I liked the one with the fridge. I thought that was quite interesting. The one about the yogurt was just pure weird. If you've not watched this, you wouldn't have what I'm talking about. But
It's been a while. I did watch them, but it's been a wee while since I'll need to.
It makes Black Mirror seem normal, I would say.
It's terrifying.
And I think that's mainly it. Still watching wee bits and pieces of other things. Just here and there. I'm trying to kind of watch one kind of drama series show, one kind of Star Wars rewatch, and then a wee short show like the robot show. So do you know how sometimes you've got a bit of time to watch longer form television, and then you've got maybe half an hour where you... So I like to have a few things in the go where I can just squeeze things in.
Very nice. You got too much time in your hands, Colin.
It's because I got up so early in the morning before work, so I usually try and watch things before work as well.
Nice. So is it me now? Is it John? Is it me?
We'll come back to John on Truth one.
Oh, okay. No worries. I've not really been watching much. I've been working a lot and going to the gym, so not been catching much. But I watched Three Men and a Baby last night. And
random.
I've never seen it before, and my girlfriend Scarlett, she was like, "Oh yeah, it's really funny. We should watch it." And she hyped it up really a lot, and I don't know, I didn't really like it that much. I was a bit bored through it. And
it's aged very well.
Once you've known Paul a certain amount of time, you realise that Paul does watch really random films all the time, and he very rarely watches the things that people recommend to him.
You're right, and if I do watch it, it's probably in the wrong order.
You skipped the first one.
What did I not watch, like Doctor Sleep before I watched The Shining and stuff like
that? Yeah.
And I've been trying to watch The Hunters season 2. It's on Prime. It's like Al Pacino and a bunch of like Jewish survivors hunting down Nazis and things through like I think it's like the 60s or 70s. But yeah, I enjoyed season 1 and it was like really kind of publicized, but season 2 just kind of appeared on Prime and it wasn't like publicized much at all. And I don't know, I'm struggling to get into it, the season 2, but it's got like Logan Lerman, is that the boy from Fury and Bullet Train? Percy Jackson. But yeah, that's about the only things I've really watched. Three Men and a Baby and Hunter season 2 that's not caught my fancy yet. And Bad Batch, of course, which I still will catch this week's episode.
Nice. And last but not least, John, was there anything else you thought of you've been checking out recently?
I'm slowly watching Bad Batch. I've watched the first 3 of the new season. That and I don't know if you guys have you heard of Slow Horses? It's a show with Gary Oldman. It's on Apple TV over here. I loved it. It's got 2 seasons out. I absolutely loved it. I flew through the 2 seasons. I can't wait for the 3rd one. But it's got Gary Oldman
advertised actually, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, Gary Oldman's fantastic in it. He's like an old, washed-up spy. He works for MI6. It's good. I loved it. Other than that, I just kind of leave older shows on for background noise. Either Bob's Burgers or Travel Man with Richard Ayoade.
Yeah,
yeah, that's good.
I leave those on for background noise, like when I'm doing schoolwork and stuff. So
I do that too. There you go. Oh well, right. Well, we get into the main course in terms of John Wick, and I'm not going to say I'm going to take a back seat, but Paul's the one that's always been going on about John Wick, so I feel like Paul should take the lead with this. I've wrote down just a few random thoughts I had, which I'm happy to share, either at the start, middle, or end. So, Paul, over to you.
Okay. Before we start, if anyone has a bad word to say about John Wick, I will take a sledgehammer to my basement, get all my assassin gear, and come find you. Already know where Daniel lives. And Colin.
Oh, but you would get out to your car and it'd be frozen, then you'd be like, nah, I can't be bothered, and go back to the house.
I'll get you in the summertime.
Plane tickets over here to Massachusetts aren't that cheap either, so I think I'm safe for a little while.
Oh, your plan's falling apart at the seams here.
I'll get some overtime in. It's fine.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm really excited to kind of get into it because I think in our top 10 movie ranking, I think it was our movie ranking or it was our soundtrack ranking. It was one of them anyway. I think I had John Wick as my number one. So I regard this movie quite high. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing what other people's viewpoints are on it. But see, probably the first thing I want to say is, see when John Wick first came out, like, did you just watch it when it first came out, or did you kind of just catch it when it came on to streaming?
I watched it on Saturday.
I watched it when it first came out.
I was a few years behind. I think I watched them after the second one came out.
Yeah, because I was when it first came out, I didn't really think much of it because the name John Wick doesn't really catch the imagination, does it?
I thought it was the guy that did the fitness videos.
Oh, aye. John won't know who that is. He's a fitness sensation. But yeah, because I didn't really catch it at all until it was on streaming, and I was like, I'll just have a wee punt at it, and I'm so glad I did because it was so good. Because I never seen it publicised, never seen any trailers for it, I never seen anything about it. I just seen that Keanu Reeves is in it, and it was an action.
Paul, yes or no? Do you want to hear my random scribbles?
Can you read your random scribbles?
Yes.
Sure, why not?
It might tee us up for some discussion points. So,
sounds good.
Very quickly, released 2014, just so I could seem knowledgeable. It's a neo-noir action thriller film. That's its genre. There you go. I wrote down Alfie Allen and Willem Dafoe's names. I wrote down the pace of the movie. This gets funnier, by the way. I wrote down cute dog. I wrote down that the two directors, although only one was credited, thank you, Wikipedia, they were stunt doubles on the Matrix movies with Mr. Reeves. I also wrote down cute dog again, in brackets Daisy. And I said sad start. I said funny police scenes, cleaning services, and Winston, in brackets, the guy from Lost. So that's what I wrote down.
Those really are the notes of a madman.
that was my takeaways.
But can we all agree that if somebody did that to our dog, we would all be the same?
I don't have a dog.
Oh, your cat.
The dog is adorable.
Yeah.
I know. I was messaging Paul when I was watching it, and he was like, "Early thoughts." I was like, "I'm not that far into it. The dog's cute." Like 1 minute later, I don't know what did I message you, Paul?
The dog's dead. Yeah, I was keeping track of it on my Fitbit. My messages were coming through, and when you messaged me, it was like the dog's cute. I was like, oh, wait till he sees what's happening now.
I think in the back of my mind, I knew there was a connection between John Wick and a dog.
Yeah, well, that's what really gets the ball rolling, isn't it? So, I think it was one of the guys from What's the Script was saying it's the most accurate depiction of somebody getting angry about hurting their dog.
Yeah, someone put that on your Twitter post. My favorite thing was what I think it was the Nerds of the Old Republic account said, how it's just B-movie schlock, but it was done so well and acted so well. It's pretty accurate. It looks like a B-movie, and then you watch it, and it's a pretty great movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The thing that really struck me about the film was it was just relentless. Like from when it started to it finished, there was no point where they actually slowed down and took a breath. Like I likened it a bit to Force Awakens, because that film is just like just doesn't stop, a bit like a roller coaster. So that was something I took away from it.
It knows how to keep your attention, definitely.
No, what you're saying, it's kind of breakneck speed, and I don't know, in this movie, I seem to think there was a lot more things that I'd never seen in other movies before. You know, like in like action movies, you see the kind of main guy mowing through the bad guys, but he'll just like punch them and they'll go flying, and that's him out of the fight kind of thing. Whereas this one, you see him take down bad guys and he like headshots them basically. Every single person, he'll shoot him a couple of times, go back, give him a headshot, and you'll see it, and then you know that bad guy's no coming back kind of thing, which I hadn't really seen in other movies before. Like, he was always confirming his kills.
Yeah.
So are we not allowed to be? Are we not allowed to be critical at all?
Okay, a tiny bit.
Is he maybe? I know that's just the kind of movie it is, but is he maybe a wee bit overpowered in the sense of how lethal he is and how many people he takes down?
How
Colin,
that's his thing.
He's the goddamn Baba Yaga.
You told us not to be yes men, so I'm just put the question out there. I suppose it's just a thing. You're supposed to suspend your disbelief, so yeah.
He does get hurt quite a bit, but I do understand your point.
There was a spell when he wasn't getting hurt, and then when he actually got hurt, I was actually like, yeah, I quite like that because it shows he's not totally infallible.
Colin, he's the man you send to kill a boogeyman.
Okay. If you don't want to have a constructive debate about your favorite movie, then I look forward to the Last Jedi number.
My one critique is I rewatched it, most of it today. Keanu, he's not a good crier. The scene where he gets the dog and cries, I was just like, I'm like, we could do away with this. It wasn't too believable to me.
I'm currently on Skyscanner looking for flights to Massachusetts.
Paul, I've moved by the way.
I'll find you.
The cast list was quite. Like, I didn't really know, apart from the lead. I didn't realize that's why my screen name. Well, no one's going to see this, but my screen name's Theon because I was quite excited to see Theon Greyjoy appear in this movie and the Green Goblin. So there's a few familiar faces in there.
Yeah,
and they all did good. Theon, Alfie Allen was good in it.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, the guy who played Winston, he's one of my favorite characters in the series.
Ian McShane.
Yeah.
He's the one from Lost that I mentioned earlier on.
Really good.
Is it are there many recurring? I've not watched the other ones yet, but I plan to because I think we're going to review 2 and 3 near when 4 comes out. Is there recurring characters through the movies, or is it like a kind of different cast?
Yeah, you'll get Winston. He reoccurs in it. The concierge, I can't remember his name.
Lance Reddick.
Yes. And who else? There's someone else in my mind there.
A couple of people who actually weren't in this one. They're in both 2 and 3. I can't remember John Leguizamo. Was he? He must be in the other
Oh
ones.
yeah, John Lang. Yeah, he's in all three, I think.
Aurelio.
What would you say? Like, have you all seen all three?
Yep.
What would you say is your favorite out of the three? Just out of interest.
Mine would be Parabellum.
Which one's that?
Third one.
That's 3.
Yeah.
I think I might go 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 1.
That's interesting because I did really enjoy this despite trying to wind Paul up. But it's good to know that it does get better or at least maintain the quality. So that's good to know.
Yeah, no, the plot does expand and it does get really good. I think I just like this one because it kind of plots very simplistic with it, and that's all I can really handle. Simple plots. But yeah,
the simplicity is one of my favorite things about it. It's just it's mindless action and it's escapism for an hour and a half. And it's well done. It's not like bad B movie escapism. It's a well done movie.
Yeah.
Since I got into my 30s, when I see a film's an hour and a half or less, I get visibly excited that I don't need to sit for that long. So that's like the perfect time so that I don't fall asleep.
See, I don't mind that. I've got kids, so the longer I'm away, the better. So I look forward to long movies.
I meant in the house. It's more like not in the cinema. I fall asleep in the cinema as well, right enough, but that's a different story.
I know. I'm sure I've seen you falling asleep during the Batman.
No wonder that film is half an hour far too long.
Yeah, they could have trimmed that movie.
No, I liked the runtime on that.
Also, because we came back from watching it and then we did a podcast. I was just lying in my bed because this is when we did it just on Anchor, audio only. So I was just like lying in my bed. It was like midnight or 1 a.m. or something by the time we finished.
Did I not come on to that podcast as well?
Yeah, you were on that one.
Yeah,
because we just came back from the cinema and jumped right on. That's why we did it.
I think that was your first one, Daniel, wasn't it?
Think so. Yeah.
No, was that? Oh yeah, that was before we did The Gentleman, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I take it you're not going to watch Avatar, Colin?
I do. I've actually never seen it, which is kind of weird considering it's the kind of thing I like. I've not seen the original Avatar yet.
You've never seen Avatar?
Nah, I never. Really? I always remember it being talked about, but I think it got such high praise. Sometimes things get such high praise that you're like, I don't want to watch it. I sometimes get a wee bit petty like that, like something's really, really hyped up. I'm like, nah, I'll just leave it.
Fair.
Maybe try it out. Maybe try it at some point. So we're doing our usual tangenting.
Yeah. Always happens.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys kind of what you thought of the world building of the movie, because that's one point that I always find myself coming back to this movie is the kind of the way they build the world and the kind of mythos between everything. Just wanted to see what you guys thought about it.
Daniel?
When you go down.
I quite liked it. I found it really interesting. They made it seem as if you don't really see any civilians. Everybody seems to be playing the game, as I would call it, almost like a game. Everybody seems to be involved, and I quite like that. It made the world seem kind of smaller, and everybody know each other. So it was quite, intimate, and I quite enjoyed. I like that fact.
Yeah, I like that there was obvious connections between, like, obviously the policeman was obviously someone that was on his side. Obviously, what was Willem Dafoe? Was it Marcus?
Willem Dafoe was Marcus. Yeah, Marcus.
That was his like mentor back in the past. So they don't like go into massive amounts of detail. They kind of just tell you roughly who's connected to who. But I kind of like that they don't just tell you everything, because maybe that's something that gets expanded on in the other films. I don't. I'm just.
Oh, the world definitely expands as it goes.
Yeah. So I feel like they didn't. I think they gave you enough to just explain how people were connected without kind of beating you over the head with it. Like some, like, don't want to keep using the Star Wars references, but they didn't jump into the back to tank and go to sleep for an hour and tell the tales. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they don't exactly hold your hand, going through the movie, trying to explain things, which is good.
I could do with that sometimes.
Yeah, because a lot's left up to you, isn't it? Like with the gold coins, like it's never really explained where the gold coins come from, or like somebody just gets one and that's then done kind of thing. There's like all these kind of clandestine services that is never really explained.
Yeah, so what I take from it is basically a coin's like almost like a favor, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I take
like
from it.
It's like a whole secret economy that's just functioning everywhere, and no one knows about it except for the people involved in it.
Yeah.
Like
and there's so much respect and rules throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. And when the cleaning service shows up, that just really kind of shows just how much is going on in this world.
That was a part I really enjoyed. See, when he took out like the whole squad of guys at his house, and then the policeman shows up at the door and looks around.
Hey, Jimmy.
And he just leaves and leaves them to it. So that was something I wrote down, and I found it quite amusing. What was something else I was going to add there? No, but it's went away into that secret land where thoughts go. So someone else jump in.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the combat? Because I think Keanu Reeves said he did like 90% of his own stunts, and I really thought the combat was so good in this. Like, I'd probably never seen it.
I think it was very well choreographed, and you can tell he spent a lot of time training to get things looking right, and just to feel immersed, be able to feel immersed in the movie, and just really enjoy it. Really look as if he is a professional. Yeah.
So I read an article about the combat actually a little while before we got on, and it was a lot of the same people like Colin had mentioned that worked on The Matrix. So they brought some of the training over from that, and the article said that the reason everyone liked The Matrix is because it was the actual actors doing all that combat. They trained to do all that fighting, and that's what they brought to this. Keanu does all his own fighting in this, so it's not a lot of special effects and camera magic to hide. It looks like a real fight because it's him actually doing it.
Yeah. It's quite funny because Keanu Reeves has kind of got his own kind of, I don't know, like his own kind of uncoordinated way of moving, so you can tell it's him when he's just got his kind of strange way of moving. And when he's like grappling people by the neck with his legs and stuff, and like rolling them about, and then
it's almost as if it's exaggerated, his movements. So it is slightly, but I like that because
have you seen that? Have you seen that gif of the guy that just dresses up like John Wick and he just darts about his kitchen? He's just diving about, hitting his fridge and stuff, and he's just like trying to pretend to be John Wick.
No,
I'll send you it later. It's funny.
Was that you, Paul? No.
Is what me? What?
Was that you running about your kitchen?
No, that's my dog running about my kitchen.
The combat's one of the reasons I think I prefer it too, because the combat sort of expands as the movies go. Like the first movie's mostly a lot of gun combat and like a little hand-to-hand, and then the hand-to-hand stuff happens more frequently and more often as the movies go.
Yeah.
I really liked the scene in the kind of, what would you describe it? It was the club that had like the kind of swimming pool and stuff in it.
So I've actually got it on in the background. That was literally that scene just happened. So
I knew that was happening. I've got a camera in your living room. No, I like that. I thought that scene was done well. I thought it was really tense, and you're on the edge of your seat, just waiting to see if Theon gets taken out of the game.
I like the professional courtesy to the bouncer too, right as he gets there. He's like an old friend and he just lets him leave. Oh, you look like you lost weight.
Well,
I like the way they felt. Sorry, Paul, when you go.
I was going to say, I'd heard something in another podcast before. I think it was the Action Movie Book Club. And they said that they'd heard that. So when he's talking about how much weight he's lost, and he says like 60 kilograms or something. That's some sort of secret code that there's actually 60 enemy combatants in the building. But I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I heard in our podcast.
What I noticed today is he says 60 kilograms because he's speaking in, Russian or whatever they're speaking. And the subtitle on the screen says 60 pounds. So he's speaking, he's using a different unit of measurement. And then on the screen, so those of us that, the one country that doesn't use the metric system can see that he's saying 60 pounds.
I definitely need to rewatch the film. I did have it in the back of my mind to try and watch it again before tonight, but life takes over, as you know, and the hours dwindle away. Yeah. So, I'll definitely watch the second one in the next week or so when I get a chance.
Yeah, it's a must-watch, definitely.
You're in for a treat.
It does. See the pacing of it, not the style of it as such, but it kind of reminded me of The Gentleman in a way, just because I thought that film was really fast-paced as well. So just maybe it's because Daniel was on that review as well.
So what was your favourite scenes throughout the movie? Like, what was your favourite scene throughout the movie?
Who are you asking?
Anyone?
Crickets.
I like the one I talked about earlier when he's takes all the guys out of his house and then the policeman shows up. Yeah, I'd probably go for that. Or the bit we're talking about with the swimming pool and stuff.
I quite like the nightclub scene. And he rips through all the guards there. Quite like that.
And he gets thrown off a balcony and still keeps going.
Yeah.
I blend there like, I'm back.
I like most of the movie like all together, but the police officer scene is definitely really funny. And I was just thinking of a scene, and now I'm drawing a blank. Never mind. Carry on.
I did that. Don't worry about it. I just did it again, to be fair.
No. And what did you guys think about the bad guys? I really liked Vigo as a bad guy, and Alfie Allen. I thought they were pretty good bad guys, even though Alfie Allen was pretty over exaggerated as a bit of a asshole.
Yeah, it was just like the typical sniveling rich kids, wasn't he? So, he was going to get his.
He really seemed.
I liked his dad though, because they've got that history together. He knows what John's capable of, but at the same time, he knows that he needs to protect his son. So
yeah, I think the dad's character was really good.
Yeah,
he seemed to really care about his son despite his misgivings, which was nice because it added an extra layer to just the normal crime boss.
Yeah.
I think he gets the best lines as well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
when he's talking about like John Wick.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job of building up. Like, obviously, for someone like me who hadn't seen it, like quite a few, like, do you know how when he finds out the car he stole and he realizes it belongs to John, and he's like, you should have done that, like sort this out. So they did a good job of building the character up through other people's views on him.
Yeah.
That's the scene I was thinking of, actually. The first scene with Aurelio, John Leguizamo, when Theon brings the car to the shop, and Aurelio's reaction to the whole situation, and then realizing the results of his reaction when John Wick shows up and he's just sitting there. He looks like it's the end, and he's just drinking his alcohol. The whole John Leguizamo's scenes where he reacts to the whole situation are really good to me.
Does he not slap Alfie Allen as well?
Yeah, he hits him right across the face.
Then his dad's like, "I heard you struck my son." He's like, "Yeah, he stole John Wick's car and killed his dog." He's just like, "Oh."
Okay,
Awkward
you weren't in the wrong.
Yeah, it was good for because Paul had spoken about it for so long, and obviously we planned to do this review, but it was a really nice kind of Saturday night film that didn't require a lot of concentration, which is good for me and Paul. And
yeah, it's like a popcorn movie.
It went by so fast. The one thing I would say, and I don't know what you guys think, do you think the pace, like the fact you never really get that chance to breathe, do you think that hurt like the kind of character development, or do you feel like they did it well enough despite the breakneck speed?
No, I think it was. I liked the way it was paced. It's that kind of way, you're sitting on the edge of your seat, anticipating what's going to happen next. I quite like that. It's non-stop. You don't have to think too much, and it's not, you're not sitting there thinking, "Oh, when is this going to end?" It just keeps setting you up.
Do you get where I'm coming from, though? When you think of other films you watch, you normally have like the action scene, like they're kind of dispersed throughout the film instead of just non-stop chaoticness for ages. But I suppose it's a nice change, and it does mean you're not sitting about for as long.
Yeah, it's definitely a choice to make it just that non-stop action. Like from 10 minutes in, it just goes and goes and goes. But I think it develops the John Wick character both through himself and through everyone that he interacts with. You don't learn much about everyone else, but the movie's called John Wick.
Yep, that's it.
Very nice. I was going to show you, the listeners and viewers wouldn't have seen this, but my cats were having a wee scrap there, which would have been very fitting for the film, but they seem to have made up now, so we'll just lead them to it. Well, we said we're going to aim to review John Wick 2 and 3 the week before the fourth one comes out. So if you guys are up for doing a sequel to this, and we can share our thoughts on those as well, if that was something you'd be interested in.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
I'm always up for talking about these mindless movies. I catch a lot of flack for it, but it's the reason I like the last 4 Fast and the Furious movies. They're so pointless, but it's just mindless action and fun. You don't have to think.
Not everything has to be. I've never. I think Paul, you're probably the same. Like we've never really been that interested in like kind of Oscar-nominated movies.
I mean, some of them are good, but I like to just sit back and.
I feel like they're good if you go and see them and then they get nominated. But sometimes you hear about a film because it's been nominated, and when that happens, I'm like, nah, I'm not that fussed.
Well, I'm of the mindset where I always wait a while for movies. Like the last 2 movies I saw in theaters were the last 2 Black Panther movies. Were the first and the second Black Panther movies. I rarely go to the movies.
That's quite a big time jump.
Right.
I've not watched the new one yet. It's on Disney Plus, I think, 1st of February.
In a couple of weeks, yeah.
So I'll probably just watch it when it comes on that.
I liked it, but a lot of the other movies, the big movies, I don't bother to see for a while. I just watched Black Adam. I still haven't seen Top Gun or any of the other big movies that came out last year. I like to wait.
I've had a wee bit of I don't know. There was a spell where I would go and see every single MCU film, but we did a kind of review of Phase 4, and I think we both agreed that it's just doesn't kind of flow as well as the previous phases did in terms of the films.
Speaking of Phase 4, the same guy that did the choreography on this did Shang-Chi. Did the fights in that, yeah.
That's a good fact.
Yeah, I'll need to try and catch it. I still haven't seen it yet either. Black Panther 2, so I'll need to try and catch it.
That'll be.
I feel as if it won't be the same without.
Chadwick Boseman.
Character. Yeah, Chadwick. So I feel as if it won't be. Yeah, I feel as if it won't be the same, and it's kind of putting me off to go and see it. But I still think it'll be a good movie, so I'll need to try and catch it.
I think. Did you say it comes on at Disney Plus? I think it comes on at Disney Plus at the start of February, doesn't it?
Yeah, 1st of February. So that's like next Wednesday, I think.
Happy days.
Few days.
I absolutely love Disney Plus. Just see having all that. It makes us really entitled, I think, when it comes to content. But it's a good aspect of being alive in this day and age, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what's even better about Disney Plus? When Colin pays for it and you don't need to pay for it.
Paul piggybacks on my account, but to be fair, I piggyback on his Amazon account. So Amazon and Disney, if you're listening, you did not hear that. Actually, there's nothing wrong with it. They let you have multiple accounts. So
yeah, it's Netflix that have been bams.
That's why we don't review any other stuff.
Go back to letting people share accounts, and we'll review your content.
Totally irrelevant to what we're talking about, but Cobra Kai's final season's got a trailer, and I'd love to do something around that when it's coming out. Although Paul's not watched it, but I think Paul would love it. I don't know if either you two have watched it.
I have not seen one episode.
I've watched it all. Well, I've caught right up. So
it's brilliant. I would highly recommend it to both of you.
I mean, it's good. It's kind of that cheesy, kind of after school, almost, special kind of thing. It's good, but it's a good watch. It's an easy watch, so it is. Yeah, it's funny as well.
Cool.
There you go. There's an exclusive Colin and Daniel show there.
Honestly, Paul, I don't often steer you wrong. It is a blast. Have you seen The Karate Kid?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, years ago, like when I was like 3.
Honestly, I would, if we were doing like a TV show ranking, I would put it definitely in my top 10. Obviously, no.
Fair enough. I'll try and watch that behind Rebels and Hawkeye and Loki and all these other things that I've not watched.
I would put Cobra Kai above all of them.
Oh, cheeky.
So you wouldn't regret it. You would get into it. It's addictive, Daniel, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's a good binge.
Yeah, you just want to watch episode after episode. It's really good.
There you go, Paul. There you go. Right, I think probably finish up there. It's 20-12 in Scotland, and I'm a tired little boy. Right. So have we got much? Oh, we forgot to say at the start that it's probably changed while we've been recording this, but we're 1 subscriber on YouTube off 80. So if anyone checking us out could hit the subscribe button, that would finally take us up to the magic 80 number. We've got recent podcasts we've had out. Reviewed A Night of the Undead along with the 2 co-directors, and we did a Black Mirror episode ranking with James. So those are 2 most recent ones. Paul, what do we agree that we're looking at next week? Is it Law Abiding Citizen we're going to review?
I'd like to say I remember, but I don't.
I think it's Law Abiding Citizen. We had a wee discussion just about some of the... Why not? We'll give a wee exclusive here, some of the things we're thinking about. Paul, why not,
Sure. I'm sure the masses will be on tenterhooks.
Law Abiding Citizen, to celebrate Valentine's Day and the 25th anniversary, we're going to review Titanic. We're going to look at Ant-Man 1 and 2. We're going to recap The Mandalorian. Paul's going to watch, so we can review Creed 1 and 2. Scream, John Wick 2 and 3, Jaws, and Bad Batch. So that's the plan for the next couple of months, all subject to change. but we're trying to tie into things that have got like sequels or spin-offs coming out in the near future. So that's some of the things we've got coming up.
Oh, you'll be busy then.
Well, we're only doing one a week. We used to do 2 a week, but see now that we're doing one a week, I'm like, how did we manage that? Like, what were we not doing with our time that we should have been doing? Something like that.
Well, I've got a few comments from people on Twitter about John Wick as well. If you want to do that.
Yeah, you go.
So we had the Wait What podcast, so it's probably Liam. He said, Keanu is just arguably one of the greatest actors of all time for me, period. I don't know if I'd go that far. Would you say Keanu Reeves is one of the greatest actors of all time?
No.
I don't think I'd agree. I think he's been in some great movies, but I don't think they rest on his acting skill.
No.
Yeah. He either plays a goofball or like very stoic, and I don't know, there's just not very much in between.
I think he done a lot of his best stuff in the 90s.
Yeah.
So he has. I mean, obviously, excluding John Wick, but now. But yeah, all his best stuff was the 90s, I think.
In defense of the Wait What podcast, they did say the greatest actors of all time for them specifically. They're not putting it out there that he's better than other actors.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say it. Liam, you're wrong.
Paul, you can't do that.
Like, I can say it I want. And we've got What's the Script podcast. So they said absolute quality and finally a real reaction in film to someone hurting your dog. And yep, that's what we mentioned earlier on, and definitely that's right.
I can't relate to that because I don't have a dog. But if anybody was to, hurt my PlayStation, then yeah, maybe.
Bold statement. Comparing a cute dog to your PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'm more attached to my TV than my PlayStation.
Fair enough. 69 Whiskey said, love this movie series. Can't wait for chapter 4. And I think once you've watched the other 2, Colin, you'll be the exact same. And Chat Tsunami said, saw this film for the first time last year, and I must admit I really enjoyed it. As a dog owner too, I can sympathise. And then there's the one that John said about love this movie, B-movie schlock, done by quality filmmakers and cast by the Nerds of the Old Republic podcast. So yeah, quite a lot of good comments there, and all very positive towards the movie.
Yeah, a lot of love for the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, your voice really suits reading out tweets.
I was thinking that myself there,
You've got a voice for the radio reading out tweets.
I could be like Bill reads bad reviews, but it's just like Paul reads petty tweets.
We need to do our scores on the doors.
Oh yeah. Okay. Nice. Looking forward to this. Anyone less than a 10 is getting it. So anyway, just cards on the table. I'm sticking a wee 10 on there. 10 out of 10.
Oofed.
That's how much I love this film. So over to you, boys. Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I'll say it. 9. I'll give it a 9.
Where did you lose the 1, Daniel? Huh? Where did you lose the 1?
I've told you in previous podcasts, you never give anything a perfect score.
Colin, Benham.
There's always room for improvement somewhere.
Just wait to hear my score.
Okay. What about you, John? What's your score?
So we're gonna end with that teaser from Colin. I think I'd agree with Daniel and go 9. Possibly, and I'm going to preempt this. I don't often rate things, but it's in my personal opinion, it's just a great and enjoyable movie, and I'd go 9, possibly a 9.5.
Cancelling my ticket to Massachusetts.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to give a score, and I'm going to give it at the start of the law-abiding citizen review.
What is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
Oh, you can't do that. Come on.
He's got to get people tuning back in.
Yeah, I'm just leaving that thread dangling, so you can find out next week.
He's a showman.
Yeah,
It's like, does Colin want a slap this week, or does he want a slap next week?
the greatest showman. No, I'm going to bide my time. Keep you sweating. I might actually watch it again and give a more detailed rating.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Right. So, Daniel, thank you very much for coming on, spending the time. It's been good to see you.
No, thanks for asking me back on. It's good. I enjoy them.
Still haven't seen you in the real world, but I'm sure it'll happen at some point.
Yes, I'm sure I'll be there in a few weeks.
Cool. Well, if you are free, give us a shout. And John,
Paul, don't tell Scarlett.
No.
Could be listening,
Yeah, surprise.
Oh. Ow.
Paul, you want a wee chance to chime in? Thank John.
John, thank you very much for coming on again. It's been great having you on. Much like the Tales of the Jedi, really enjoyed discussing the film with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it being asked back on. It's always fun talking to you guys, and I look forward to future episodes that we can do together. Talk about the rest of John Wick.
Yeah, we've got a rough date for that, so we can share that. And you might not see a lot from me in a couple of weeks' time because
Yay!
Hogwarts Legacy is coming out.
Cheers the person who we can't even see his face.
I know. the new much awaited Harry Potter PS5 game's coming out, so I'm gonna get locked into that.
Hey, you've got no time for that now.
Loads of time. I'm actually in my house more now, Paul, because we all live here. So,
do you play any games, John?
No, actually, I don't. I used to be an Xbox person. I had the Xbox One for a while, and then I kind of fell off playing it and ended up selling it. I was always on Call of Duty. That was my game. Then I just sort of stopped.
Ah, nice. What was the last Call of Duty you played?
Oh, Lord, I can't even remember. I don't know. It's been at least 6 or 7 years now. So whatever was out before that, maybe Black Ops 2, if I remember.
Nice. Back in the day, I like to remember playing those games. I played Call of Duty in ages though.
I was absolutely awful at Call of Duty.
No, I had a lot of fun playing it, and I had a small group of friends. We always played together. So,
well,
nice. Sorry, I took us a wee tangent there, gaming. Sorry.
I'll bring it back on track. So, if anyone made it this far, make sure you, as I said, subscribe on YouTube. But you also check us out on other platforms like Spotify, Anchor, Good Pods, Audible, Amazon Music, etc. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as Seismic Cinema. So like and subscribe, share us. And if you want to come on or request any reviews, then let us know.
And buy us a coffee.
Yes. Paul, actually not Paul. John, I don't know. Should we go John or Daniel for the slogan, Paul? What do you think?
Combined both at the same time in unison.
Okay.
Oh no, don't. I'm not prepared for this.
We'll count you down. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's the slogan?
The power of escapism.
Hey. No, actually, Paul, that's not right, is it?
No. It's the power of kicking dogs.
It's the power of
Kicking dogs.
You can't say that.
That's a pretty dark one. Sorry.
It's a joke. It is the power of escapism, and we hope everyone's enjoyed escaping with us for almost exactly an hour. So if we wait 10 seconds, it'll be an hour.
That's the second time John's been on. Hasn't remembered that. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna start writing it down when I listen.
And thanks for checking us out, and tune in next week to hear my rating.